Hello my sweet honey bunnies and welcome to my Mandarin Ducky. This is an elephant journal tutorial, the one you've been waiting for almost a year, and I know it took me some time to come back, I'm sorry. So let's start with the tools, shall we? For this tutorial you will need brown clay, knife tool, ball tool, rubber shaper, potter's rib or blade, screwdriver with multiple small endings, working surface to work on and bake on, like a ceramic tile for example, some acrylic paints in gold and white color, gilder's paste in green patina, and burn umber oil paint. So let's start with the clay. For this journal I have used Living Doll clay by Sculpey, but as it is now discontinued, any other brown clay will be good. For an A6 journal cover I will need around 2 small clay blocks or something around that amount. Soften and condition your clay properly and roll it through the pasta machine on levels from 0 to 2 gradually. Make sure the clay sheet is large enough to fit an A6 size template. I have this old Sculpey texture sheet that is exact size I need, but you can always make a cardboard template of an exact journal size you require. Place the template onto the clay sheet and cut around it with the blade. Get rid of the excess clay and leave a perfect A6 clay sheet. Adjust and rearrange it if you need to, my one went a bit wonky. The next step would be to apply some texture. My today's choice is a texture from Cool Tools that looks quite like an Indian pattern to me. The impression doesn't need to be perfect as we will have a lot of stuff going on top of it. After that's done, take some more clay and roll a sheet of clay on level 3 through your pasta machine. We will start cutting out little stamp impressions in the shapes of paisley and flowers. I have this stamp set by Viva Decor that is perfect for that. All you need to do is imprint the stamp into clay, cut it out and then place it wherever you think is good. I decided to decorate the corners of the journals with it, as in the middle I am planning to put the elephant's head. Once all elements are placed into their positions, take a sculpting tool and start working on the edges of the paisley elements. You want them to merge with the background in a very decorative manner, therefore you will need to make many stroke-like movements to achieve this look. After that you can also use a screwdriver with replaceable heads and use the smallest you have to imprint little stars around every paisley element. I know it's a lot of work. But this is exactly what makes the artwork so detailed and breathtaking in the very end. You can also use sculpting tool to make more strokes around the paisley and to fill in the empty spaces. It may seem a bit weird and unnecessary, but in the end you will see how all of that effort will pay off really well. The more into details you go, the crazier will be carved wood effect in the end, I promise. So when that is done, we can move on to the elephant's head. Start with the ears, cut them out and place them onto your journal cover. Remember that the ears may not remain in this position permanently. We may still shift things around. Work on the realistic ear shape. They are wavy and flexible, so they will have a lot of folds and creasing. For the elephant's head, we will need to condition some clay very well and roll it into a ball. Then give it a bit of a teardrop shape and, as I said before, some things may shift around a little bit. In this case, I did put the ears too far from each other. Now I need to fix it. So, to make sure that the ears are really well connected to the head, I need to peel them off and place them back behind the head, and then place the whole thing onto the journal again. To make the skull more realistic, you will need to form the areas for the eyes by just simply pressing your fingers into the clay. We have already formed the base of the trunk by pulling some clay out of the headpiece. Now we will need to roll a clay cane for the rest of this trunk. Make the thicker part to look like a cup so we can connect it together with the rest of the head. And now by pushing, pulling and smoothing, create a perfect elephant trunk and get rid of excess thickness if you think that the trunk has gone too thick or too flat. To make nostrils, I used one of the smallest ball tools I had. Right, now we are done with the main shape of the head and we can move on to the textures. You can use some foam sheet or a sponge to create some rough elephant skin texture. Before we go working on smaller details, we will need to add 2 pockets for elephant tusks.